Hi, my name is Emma Haslam, and I'm super excited to be presenting about my internship experience. So, I will be doing an introduction, accomplishments, challenges, solutions, ExDM principles, and an overall evaluation. So, like mentioned earlier, my name is Emma. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a senior in ExDM. I come from an all-girl family, and we've had so much fun together, and I've loved having built-in best friends. A fun fact about me is my freshman year in college, I went to BYU Hawaii. It was COVID, and so no one was there, but it was just so fun to have the whole island to ourselves and to have online classes. So we would just explore all day and do homework all night. I did my mission in England, and I loved it. I got to learn more about who my savior is and about how to love people. And some things about me, I love going to the temple. I love anything outdoors, so camping and skiing and exploring. I love music. I love going to concerts. I grew up cheering and dancing. And the man in the bottom corner with me is my fiance. We just got engaged on Sunday. I'm super excited. And I had to add in Jesus because I just love Jesus. So, my internship experience, I was an event coordinator at the BYU Museum of Peoples and Cultures from September 2025 till April 2026. I would say my main accomplishments were just the amount of events I did and what I learned from each of them. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through each of those events briefly and explain more. So, this was the Tribe of Many Feathers Cultural FHE. This was my very first event. Cultural FHEs are something the museum puts on every couple months on a Monday to celebrate and highlight a culture from BYU, like a club on campus, and do food from there, crafts, storytelling, dancing, that sort of thing. And it's just a great time for the general public and BYU students to enjoy learning about a different culture. Dia de los Muertos is an event that they've done for a couple of years now, and it's gotten a lot of traction. There's about 1,000 guests who come. It's our biggest event of the year, and so that was super fun to be a part of. And yeah, the grad studies art exhibit. This was one that I really struggled with. It was my first event that I facilitated by myself without the event coordinator who was training me how to do the job. And so I kind of felt like a deer in the headlights. I didn't know what I was doing, but I grew a ton by just trying new things. There were a few tears shed, but I grew, and I am so grateful for those challenges that I've had to overcome. Trivia night was my first official event that I had planned and coordinated with other museums because all the museums on campus were doing them on different nights. The tickets sold out. There was about 40. It was a smaller group event, and it was super fun to collaborate with. The trivia was about different festivals around the world and their cultures, and so we had people in the back of the museum who do the artifacts got to bring some of those out and show guests. So we had a great time with that. The Christmas employee party was great just because it was the end of semester and it was a potluck and party and just not as much pressure. And a great way to start our December before finals began. And so I really enjoyed that one and just building that team camaraderie around the museum. So then starting winter semester, I was now the senior event coordinator and I was learning to train a the junior event coordinator on the job. She did great, but this was our first event together. It was the Anthro Open House, and my boss had been doing this event a while ago, but he wanted to start running it again, and so we had to learn and figure it out together because neither of us had done this event before. But we targeted pre-Anthro major students, and it was super fun because all the people in the museum were participating. Chocolate Around the World was my favorite event because it had never been done before. We all created it. The coworkers, we did a lot of ideation to come up with it, and we had chocolate from different countries, and we got to do dancing from those countries and games, and it was a date night, and so that was super fun. It was like a Valentine's theme, and we did love stories from all those cultures, and it was just a great time, and I really loved it. Nights of Light was a bit chaotic because I had planned a trip to Hawaii a while ago and didn't realize that I would be missing a lot of the planning part of that. And so I left my coworker to do all the planning for that because it came really quickly after our chocolate event. And I flew in the day of, but she had to do all the planning on her own. So that was a little bit stressful. The ASA Cultural FHE was with the Arab students on campus. It's their Arab Student Association Club. And this was definitely our hardest collaboration and communication event because we never heard from them. They would not respond to their texts and emails. And Everyone at the museum on my end that was in charge of helping with this event was pretty frustrated because we couldn't move forward. But we learned that um, we just had to find ways to communicate that I'll go about talking about in a minute. But it ended up being a wonderful turnout, and we had lots of dancing, crafts, food, and storytelling. They have a dance called Dubka that was really cool, and they taught the dance to the audience, and it was super fun. I also did a spring employee party for all the NPC staff, and that was on Monday, and it was super fun. We just did another potluck and PowerPoint night, where all the different departments of employees got to present their slides, and it was super hilarious. We had a great time. We said goodbye to all the seniors, including myself, and it was nice just to have a nice chill event. So I loved it. And then our final event is the Anthro grad party, and sadly, I won't be there for it because it's the same day I'm graduating, and it's for the anthropology department students who will be having a luncheon at our museum. But I still have helped plan it, and it was definitely a tight budget, and learning how to find the right thing that would appease what my boss wanted has been hard. But we have figured out a good food option, and it's a pretty simple event setup, so we only need a couple volunteers. But that will be the final event that I've helped participate in. There's been a lot of challenges that I've had throughout my time, these being keeping events within the given budget, collaborating with other groups, planning events far in advance, and feeling imposter syndrome. So I've come up with some solutions for these. For the budget one, it'd be removing items or finding cheap alternatives, and estimating the amount of guests accurately and as accurately as you can, I guess, because sometimes you really can't, and communicating if the budget feels unrealistic. For collaborating with other groups, I think it would be so crucial going forward to have a list of expectations or almost like a contract of what we are expecting on our end and and what we expect for them on their end, and just communicating that before starting, like with the Arab FHE. That would have been really nice. And with the Arab FHE, for the second bullet, finding their best communication method, we learned that meeting in person was crucial for them because we couldn't get in contact with them any other way. And so once we had met with them in person, we would just schedule a return appointment to meet the next week over and over and over. And those were how we literally got that event to happen. And so I think learning to meet the needs and how they communicate is crucial. Getting things done far in advance because we felt pretty behind on our events. It would be nice to schedule events out with our boss at least a year and a half out, which seems crazy but crucial. And then you can create those event proposals in the beginning of the semester for like all the events going forward. For feeling imposter syndrome, I think doing things to increase your self efficacy, using organizers like Excel, the Bacardi board, and being humble. Some ExDM principles I've learned is the Picotti board. We used that every single day as soon as we went into the office to create a backlog, what we needed to do, what was in progress, and what tasks were complete. Project management was a skill I definitely was learning through this experience. We would have meetings every other Friday, where we'd collaborate with other departments in the museum, and they would help us with our events. We had sign up sheets around the museum, which helped with like managing like who was going to be volunteering at our events, and we'd also email our employees as well as using Microsoft Teams. Being people focused was super important, and I learned that in our program. And considering you have a boss, you have employees, you've got clubs you're collaborating with, you've got vendors and guests, learning how to accommodate to their needs, being patient, focusing on them, is something, it's definitely a learning process, but by being people focused, you can create the best results. And then being open to feedback, we learned a lot about this in the program, and I feel like I definitely had to learn how to use that in a professional way. Every event, we would have an end of event report where we'd write what went well and what went wrong. And it was super nice to just have that. And I think continuing that is so good. We would also like ideate new solutions for what could be better going forward. And just being humble if people have feedback for you, are all things I really want to continue to apply from the program into this job I've had, and also just going forward into my future career. So what did I accomplish during the internship? I accomplished event planning, building 11 events, and building friendships. What skills did I develop or improve? Learning how to plan events in general, organization skills, collaboration. What challenges did I face and how did I overcome them? I just learned that I can do hard things. And what are my future plans following this internship? I'm actually going on the Asia study abroad for experience design, and then I'll get my diploma after that. I'm getting a job hopefully when I get back from that and getting married. So that's everything I've learned, and thank you for listening.